Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian Report, and starting with the ASX 200 here on the daily chart. We're going to have a look at two counts, but I think this is a good count to start with. This would be the same count as we would have for the Nikkei and also for India as well. China and Hong Kong have got different counts. So this count here would be an expanded flat correction. So an expanded flat correction, if I can just draw here somewhere, a market would move up and then have a top of wave 3. Expanded flats happen in wave 4s. So the market would move down in 3 waves here as the A wave over here. And then it would move up in an ABC pattern here, and it takes out the top here, and then it would have 5 waves moving to the downside here, taking the low out here also as well. Once it's had these 5 waves here, which are these 5 waves, then we'd move up for the 5th wave here. So an A wave, an A and a B and a C for the B wave, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for this. So we're looking down at, well, a corrective pattern of a wave 4 in a nutshell that's going to happen across the 5,800 here as a balance point, and then we'll have one more move down to 5.6 or even 5.5 here before we start climbing to the upside in 5 waves here. Now, the other count for this, I'm going to go to the weekly chart for this. And this has a top in play here already. So with wave 4 here, looking for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 5. And then we come down in 5 waves here, just the same as we do in the other pattern. But in this case, we have 3 waves moves to the upside here, and then we have a strong 3rd wave down. So I won't know this until we experience this particular pattern in here, either as 5 waves moving up or 3 waves moving up here. I may be able to come to an answer to this before we get here, based on other indices and also stocks within these sectors as well. The other count for this too, with this moving down through here, I've never really been happy with the wave 3 and 4 moving to the upside here. So while we're in the bigger picture here, if it's okay to have another look here, we've had this as wave 3 over here and wave 4 here, and even when this occurred here, because it came down so sharp, we always considered it to be an A wave, so we were looking for all of this to be a B wave up here and a B wave here, and that's still quite possible really, because the problem with this 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here is that wave 4 clearly overlaps wave 1 here, which breaks one of the Elliott rules. And breaking a rule at this degree of structure is a bit of a no-no really, because it's okay if you're trading derivatives and you're on a sort of an intraday chart and it does that, well then that's not so, it's not such a big thing. But the other point here too is that we haven't really taken a top out here, so we would have 2 rules, not rules broken, but wave 5 doesn't have to take the top out here, it just needs to produce 5 waves. But if we take on board that this is wave 3 here with an A and a B and a C here for wave 4 coming into here, and then having wave 5 moving up here, then we'll come closer to a top here, and that might make it a little bit more civil at that point. So they're the things that we need to work through. So as always, we need to work through them step by step. But the good news is that we kind of know where we are within the trend to the downside here at the moment. So we have this nice strong 3rd wave here. We know the previous low. We know that the 800 is always an important number. So we're going to see the market play out in this area here. So the wave 4, wherever the wave, excuse me, wrong tool, wherever this, I think this could be one more little move like this here, but the The wave 4 would pull back 38.2%, so just roughly in here, roughly in here. So we're looking back really around the 5.9 here for this particular wave 4 here. And then we'll look down for wave 5 into this space here, the 5,600 here. So I'll just save that. So that gives us a bit of a picture here, and also too, if you know, in that other bearish picture here, rather than coming up here in 5 waves for wave 5 up here, if we take this top here and let's bring it down to 5.6 here, then we know that the 50-60% retracement level, just roughly at this stage, will come in around the 6,000, which would be about right as well. So we could experience a move as an A and a B and a C here, and then down from here. So this is where we'll need to be careful and try and figure this out from here. Yeah, so the 4-hour chart's not going to give us a little bit more detail here. So wave 1 and wave 2 here, and I may have to count this differently here. I've just counted it as I've seen it here the other day, and yeah, so that's kind of it really, with a bit of an extension in the 5th wave rather than the 3rd wave here. So I might have to revisit this here. What may occur here is that I'll need to look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and 5 here, and having this down just as, copy this just as wave 3 here, and then wave 4 here, and then bringing wave 5 down. Let's have a look what I've done on the hourly chart here. So this is the this is why I've looked at it so far, from wave 2, wave 1, and wave 2, wave 3, and wave 4 in here, and then counting down here. I can see here that there's 5 waves in this little wave structure for wave 1, and then wave 2 here, wave 3 here. Wave 3 may be a little bit shorter than wave 1, but that will make wave 5 here even shorter still, and will gravitate into that 5.8 here. So I think there's a little bit more sort of movement to come in here. So I think today will be a day of you know, working this particular number here. So it's going to be a little bit of a rough time for a little while. So be careful that you don't get chopped up trying to catch, you know, what you see here is not what you're going to get next. You get the opposite of what you're looking at. So once you get that in your mind, you know that you've had this, that was the chance to trade that. And if you miss that, you can't go chasing it now, because we'll get stuck in a corrective rally here. Moving over to, I think what I'll do this time is I won't go to China and Hong Kong first. I'll go to Japan and India, and then come back that way. So with the Nikkei here, this is the picture that would also fall into play with the Australian market. In this case here, from wave 3 here on the daily, wave A here, then A and a B, and a C wave here, and in this B wave here it counts out quite nicely as an A and a B and a C and a D and an E wave here. So basically a triangle in wave Bs, and as the textbook would have it, wave 4s and wave Bs have the triangles in them, and also complicated triple zigzags and double zigzags can have them too. In this case here, would be looking for the same thing as well. The A wave here, the B wave up here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the Nikkei and the Australian market have this in common here. So once we finish wave 4 here, we'll move up into wave 5 here. And on the 4-hour chart for this here, first of all, the A wave here, then the A, the B, and the C wave over here, with an A, B, C, D, and E in here, and then 5 waves up for wave C here. So in this case here, we're looking at this as wave 1, 2, and a drop for wave 3 here. I need to study this a little bit more here. Actually, I need this just a little bit more I have to do in here. I just haven't had the time to do everything on these sharp moves, but certainly more downside to play out here. And also India is the same as well here. So what I'm thinking for India's got the same, has got these 3 waves up here. So in this case here, wave 3 over here, an A wave here, an A and a B and a C. We'd already talked about this before. B wave here, 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So we've been involved in this one here. So on the 4-hour chart, we were looking, last time we spoke, we were looking, let's just get this, wave 1 here, wave 2 here. And once again, we've got that extension in the 5th wave. I've had to count it like that because it's just the way that it's unfolded and it's the way I see it. So, but I know that it could be a little bit different. So if you've got a different count, I understand that as well. Not to say that I'm right and you're wrong or anything like that. It's just, I always find the more ideas you can put on the table, the better off you're going to be with the situation anyway. So we counted this down as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then 1 and 2, and then the 3rd wave here, and certainly can see the little 5 waves in here. So what we were discussing before, we understood that the 38.2% retracement level was at 10,500. It could have just dropped from in this little space here and dropped down, or it could have pulled back up into here. So we talked about both of those moves, moving back up into here and then moving down here. So in this case here, with all of these markets, we're looking at this blue wave 3 coming into play here. Now I can see that move down here. I could probably put that there, but at the same time, that move down there may be just wave 1 and back for wave 2 and then 3 and 4 and 5 and coming down here a little bit further. So I'm not quite sure about that, but we can certainly expect the market to slow down and start bouncing around this particular number here. So it's not a place to start trading in this environment here. Once we've got a nice rally and we can see it, then we can trade this leg to the downside. And looking at China and Hong Kong now, like I mentioned, they're in different patterns. I mean, this is China here. It's been coming down for it's in its own world basically. So it's been moving down for quite some time. So we've just been tracking that down. So in this case here, I don't need this wave. And this could be 1 degree higher here too, so in all of these structures. But well, it's okay, we're just counting away here. So we're still looking for a further downside here, basically to take the low out here is what we're looking for here. So, and also too, the market is kind of leaving the previous number here. The 11,500, the medium level, halfway between 2 major levels. So the major levels are 10,000 and 13,000. And the market's highly likely to be pulled down into this space here. I've had this also as a different count too on the intraday chart, but I won't go there at the moment. But any move down through here is going to find some support here, a bounce as a 4th wave, like with those other markets on an intraday basis of that wave 3, and then moving down lower from this point. And the Hong Kong market, I've got this here as a degree higher here. So on the Chinese market, I had this wave 1 over here, but I've gone a degree higher here. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but it doesn't really matter that much. It's just the counting is more important. So in this case here, we're still looking for more downside here. So we looked at wave 2 from wave 1 here to wave 2 here, then 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for here. I think that's correct, with wave 4 here and then down for wave 5 here. So we're also looking for 5 waves here. Of course, we're at a medium level here, which is halfway between 20,000 and 30,000, so the 25,000 area here. So we're going to see the market play across here. We're going to see this market bounce off this level. It's going to run out of steam, and it's going to come through it, and then it's going to come back and play with it here. So we're going to be in this space here, you know, for quite some time with this market. But I still expect it to come lower. So those 5 waves down that we're counting in other markets, we can kind of expect that here too, in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So wave 1 is quite clear. Wave 3 is still a little bit short within all of this space here. I won't go into detail with this at the moment, but we can look at this as time goes on. I've still got quite a few charts to update. So anyway, that's where we are with the Asian indices, and thanks for tuning in. Cheers.